here there be spoilers. Beware any you haven't read yet. Avast, ye viewers! Ge back, afore ye be spiled of this book. Hey everybody, Graz here. Welcome back to the GKBC. Or if you're already subscribed, then hey, welcome. Thanks for coming back. Figured I would, I got something big planned for the coming week, but it's not quite ready yet. So I figured I would do a review, starting the where I'm talking about the top 100 greatest graphic novels of all time, starting with number 100. So I'm going to start with that, or I'm going to start that series today. But before we get into that, I got a few things I want to talk about. First off, congratulations to Bart J. Gilbertson at the channel, Bart J. Gilbertson Books. I'll have that linked below. He got my trivia question right last time. It was who was John Lennon's first wife, and he knew that it was Cynthia, mother of Julian. Also, I hope everybody really appreciates my moustache for Movember, which is to bring awareness to men's mental health, depression, suicide thoughts, and self-harm, and that kind of thing. I suffer from that, from depression and really bad, almost crippling anxieties. That's why I'm so nervous in front of a camera. I'm actually extra. That's why I almost never look. I'm always turning my head back and forth. Helps me stay calm. But I heard about Movember. That's November with an M. 2 days ago, watching KD Books, and Kiernan, I hope I got your name right, was talking about his past with it and with the issues, and so I figured that I would trim and leave a nice Wyatt Earp going on, and I'm going to be donating to him as soon as payday rolls around. I encourage you all to do the same. I'll link his channel down below and his link for his Movember, where he's trying to reach 500 pounds. I'm not really sure how much that is because I go by the dollar, but I will help him reach it. Excuse me. So that's that. Now I'm going to give you a quick update on what I've been reading so far this month. Now I had a set pile of books that you might be able to see over here. If not, that's okay. I went through them in one of my recent videos. And when I was getting ready to start the month, my daughter, she had just read this book here in the Read with Reagan book club, which is a book club that Reagan Revord, who plays young Missy Cooper on Young Sheldon, the TV show, started because she loves to read and she wants to spread the literacy awareness. So my daughter read this in October, and she said, well, I want you to read this. And I sat down, and it's very much a YA book. It was clearly not aimed at me, but I still read it in one night because I kind of got caught up in the background of it and everything. But it's the Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldavsky. The premise is basically there's a Mary Shelley Club that pulls horror pranks, but don't call them pranks because they get stuffy if you do. And the goal is to make somebody scream. Like, I'll read you the rules real fast. They're on the inside cover. The Mary Shelley Club is a secret. Everyone gets one fear test that all members must help execute. You must perform the task that the leader of the fear test assigns to you, no exceptions. You must pick your target before the test starts. That's your 8-ball. You may scare everyone else in the room, but if you don't sink your 8-ball, which means they have to scream, you failed the test. The game isn't over until everyone in the club has had their turn. A member of the club may never be a target. And finally, a fear test ends when your target screams. So I got caught up in that because it sounded interesting, and plus they kind of tie it all the way back to the actual Mary Shelley who wrote Frankenstein. And actually Frankenstein was the first of these fear tests, because they were it was Mary Shelley and a group of her friends that were saying, they were together and they were saying that whoever could come up with the scariest story wins, and she came up with Frankenstein, which is pretty cool. So this wasn't terrible. Not for me though. So I read that on the 1st. Our book club, taking a break from Stephen King for a little bit, is finishing Summer of Night this week, hopefully by Wednesday. I've got about 70 pages left. I've already read this, so it goes nice and easy for me, but it's been fun analyzing it with the group. And eventually down the road there will be a video about this book. It's going to be a while though. Lots to get to. But yeah, that's something that we're finishing this week. And the other book that I started, I'm about halfway through, I think. Let me see here. I am at page 252, and the book is, let me get out of all of that, is 664. So I'm about a little more than a third, little less than half done. And that's Helter Skelter, which is the true account of the Manson murders and all of the things that are included therein. And let me tell you, this thing, because it's real and these people actually died, I'm probably going to need a little bit of a cleanser every once in a while. I haven't yet, but some of the commentary in here, and it's really graphic and in your face, and I don't mind horror. I mean, I'm not a big gore fan. A little bit is fine, but if it's people that have actually died, I'm not really into that, but I like the nonfiction part. So that's something I've been reading this month. Okay. That's the catch-up. I copied Tad's bookkeeping. So let's move into my review. Now, number 100 on this list is this. Scott Pilgrim, number 3. Scott Pilgrim and the Infinite Sadness. So that's number 100 in this list. Now, yes, I know, number 3, right? But that's where it started, so I know that, so it's number 1 in my reading order. I kind of just have my review that I posted online for this, because I started reading this list when I bought the magazine in 2017, so I read this book in October of 2017, and that's over 5 years ago. So I don't remember a ton from it. So I just printed out my review and added a few things that I did remember. So I'm just going to read this and maybe talk about a few things, maybe give you the stats, and then we'll move on from there. So I laughed a lot while reading it. There was a lot of funny jokes, and like the hipster humor that's sort of in there is, if you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't seen the movie, then what are you waiting for? Because it is spectacular. It's like every comic book trope brought into one movie. It's really great. But Scott is kind of a backdrop character in this one, with new prospective girlfriend Ramona Flowers and ex-girlfriend Envy kind of playing the more main roles as the sympathetic and not so sympathetic leads. I'm going to leave it to anybody who reads it or has read it or will read it to decide for themselves which is which. Envy's new squeeze, Todd, is a total douche all the way through the book. He shows his true colors more than once, even though he's like the lead bassist and he's Mr. Vegan, and he's supposed to be something special, but he shows that he's a real piece of work. But in the movie, the book is fine, I understand, but in the movie he's played by Brandon Routh, and he's way cooler in the movie. If you don't know who Brandon Routh is, he played Superman in Superman Returns, the movie, and he was in the Arrowverse on, I think it was Fox or FX. I can't remember the station. Sorry. But he was in there. He played the Atom, and then I think he comes back as Superman. Anyway, this number 3 is the tale of when Scott's ex, Envy, shows up with her band. That includes Todd, who is one of the evil exes of Ramona's Evil X Club that Scott must defeat in combat in order to fully date Ramona. That's really the plot. I mean, it's like he comes across a evil ex, he fights him. If he wins, he moves on. So it's kind of neat. There are funny things all through it, but that's the meat. And it kind of does a really good job of explaining the previous books. So if you only read this one for whatever reason, like if you decide to skip 1 and 2 and then not read 4 through 7, then you're going to kind of still get a full story here. I mean, you won't see the ending, but you don't need to, I suggest you read 1 and 2, but it's not 100% necessary, is what I'm trying to say. The artwork is solid. It tells the story as well as the words. But I don't want to say it's juvenile. But since it is a kind of upper YA book, so the artwork is kind of not real sophisticated, but also has its own sophistication in its own right. It's both. That's what makes part of it so great. I was really surprised that this book was number 100 on this list, and it originally gave me hope for the rest. But here's a minor spoiler for this list. I'm currently reading maybe 60, 59, 58, something like that, because I have been reading this list for 5 years as I could afford the books and thought about it. And I know that there are more than a few between Scott Pilgrim and where I'm at that probably Scott Pilgrim number 3 should be ahead of. I'm sure we'll probably get through that, though. My 2 favorite quotes in the book, or 2 favorite things, really, not really. One's a quote and one's just a thing. While Scott's trying to beat Todd is supremely confident to the point that he's past that, and Scott yells at him, "You cocky cock!" Which that's the kind of verbiage you get all through this, and it's really, really well written. And then Todd, vegan powers, which he seemed to have, he could levitate and do all this other stuff. They fail if you don't follow the rules. So enjoy vegan jail, Todd. Chicken isn't vegan. I totally screwed that up. But the quote, "Chicken isn't vegan," and the vegan cops take him away. It's great. But yeah, I wasn't going to do my normal 5 and 5 likes and 5 dislikes because it's been so long. When I start remembering the books a little better, I'll do that. I'll give you some stats now. This was 192 pages in the paperback version that I had, which was like the picture that I showed you in the little what's it called, manga, I guess. It's not backwards though, so American manga, I suppose. It has a 4.28 rating on Goodreads across 41,835 ratings, and it has 1,415 reviews, so it's actually well received. 4.28 is pretty high. for a graphic novel, I think, especially one that's rated number 100. So that's that. Let me know if you like this book. If I was forced to give it a star rating, which I don't normally, it would probably be a 3. But I usually go out of 10, so maybe 6.5, I guess. 7 at the highest. But if you liked it or didn't like it, whatever, and you want to let me know, then please do. Like I said, I got something big and exciting or interesting coming up for this upcoming week or weekend. It all depends on when something comes in. So watch for that. Also, when that starts, we're going to have our first thumbnail drawn by my daughter. So pretty excited about that too. She is in charge of all the logos, animations. She attaches the stuff at the beginning and the end, and she's learning how to do the like so that there's like a picture next to me and stuff. And she has her own channel called Jack is Bored. I'll link that down below too. Go check it out. Let's get some support behind a burgeoning animator, because she's gotten a lot better at both her art and her animation, and let's build up that confidence for her. That would be great. Thank you to everybody who subscribed and watches and comments and likes. As always, we love the interaction. All of us here at our, we have a little crew, and we all get excited. We all, one of us, whoever reads it first, reads the comment out loud, and we all get excited and stuff. So I'm gonna finish as normal on an unpopular opinion, which oddly enough, seems like every single time I say it, somebody that watches tells me that they agree. So maybe I'm not as unpopular as I thought. Wish I'd have known that when I was in school, but I digress. I think that on Friends, both Ross and Rachel could have done better than each other in the end. They were toxic together, and it just, for me, that the show was more about Chandler and Monica. But Ross and Rachel could do better than each other. So let me know if you like this series of the graphic novels, if you watch it. Like I said, there's 100 of them, and I've got almost half of them done, so lots of content. And like I said, I'll give you a minor spoiler about the upcoming week. Big thing that I think that I got coming is that you're finally going to get to see why we named our channel and our book club after Stephen King. So watch out for that. Until then, read more.